Congressman Thanedar said that he plans to introduce legislation to abolish ICE. How comfortable are you with members of your party pushing this?
I haven't had a conversation with the congressman on that particular piece of legislation, but our position has been clear that taxpayer dollars are being used by the Department of Homeland Security and ICE to brutalize American citizens and law-abiding American taxpayers.
Anti-ICE protests are continuing in the US 1 week on from the fatal shooting of a woman at the hands of an ICE agent in Minnesota. President Donald Trump and other senior officials promising to maintain pressure on blue states.
Faith leaders in Minneapolis holding an early morning vigil. Wednesday marks 1 week since the 37-year-old activist was fatally shot during an interaction with an ICE officer minutes after dropping her 6-year-old off at school.
What we have all gone through is not normal.
Overnight, anti-ICE demonstrations continued in Minneapolis, protesters shouting at agents and holding signs. Tension escalating as agents began shooting pepper balls and throwing flashbangs. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, in an interview with Fox News, standing by his message for ICE to get out of Minneapolis.
And what we are seeing time and time again is unconstitutional conduct by ICE.
The Department of Justice saying Tuesday there is, quote, no basis for a civil rights investigation. This as officials in Minnesota this week announced they are suing the federal government to stop the deployment of thousands of immigration agents to Minnesota. The White House calling the move a, quote, pathetic stunt.
They are clearly fueling the rage here. To have Minnesota file what they did a couple of days ago really does sort of make it very clear that this is performative rather than legal.
And next Friday, January 23rd, anti-ICE activists are calling for people in Minnesota not to purchase things, not to go to school, and not to go to work.
Meanwhile, I guess where you are, many Americans more concerned with the actions currently of federal agents in major US cities, a huge uproar online and on TV news, but it feels like from the outside, not as much on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think on Capitol Hill, there's people are holding back a little bit to really understand more how the investigation will play out. Of course, the investigations have been hampered because President Trump has ordered the federal authorities to not share information with local government. So it's going to be difficult to figure out exactly what happened. But, you know, the really interesting thing about this episode is that depending on your political persuasion, we have two very different interpretations of what happened, which is bizarre because it's a factual scenario. But
this is just for our viewers. This is the Minneapolis incident where, of course, we saw the mum of one get shot through her car screen window by an ICE agent.
Yes, that's right. And I apologize. I should have said that earlier. But Democrats and people on the left, they see it as murder, and that's the language a lot of people are using. On the right, they see it as justified. And it's just two different factual interpretations of what happened. People have different ideas of when the officer drew his gun. So I don't know how this gets resolved, but I can tell you that Democrats do feel a little bit in a bind because, Years ago, you might remember there was a big push on the left to defund the police. And that really came back to bite the Democrats. Democrats now look back on that and think that was the left taking them to a place that's a little bit crazy. And they don't want to go back to that. So there's some hesitation about being too critical of ICE and not blaming the entire organization when this is really the actions of a few. But that's tough to articulate when you're a political party.
Yeah, and it makes some of the protesters, I guess, feel politically homeless right now. It's fascinating times. I wish we had more time, Nathan. Maybe we can get you back to have more of a chat in the future. This is not going away for sure. Appreciate your time today.